With 2024 officially being closed for the New England Patriots, it's in the books. None of us ever want to look back at that book ever again. In fact, let's all burn that book simultaneously. I thought there'd be no better time to look into the future. I mean, this is a new age of the New England Patriots, right? I feel like I said that this time last year, which I did, but Mike Vrabel's officially in the building. It's a new coaching staff. Year two of Drake Maye. We got free agency, the draft right around the bend. I think now is the best time to talk about the opponents that we are going to be seeing in this upcoming season. What's going on, everybody? My name is Colby Cochran, also known as Patriots Global. I appreciate you for clicking on today's video to hear me talk about some Patriots news. Today's video brought to you by BetUS. We'll talk to you a little bit later how you can get an exclusive deal from them, NBA, baseball, basketball, anything, any sport you're thinking of, you can get that deal with BetUS, and we'll talk about them later. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and let's get right into it. First off, the New England Patriots home opponents. So the next opponents we talk about here are going to be coming to Gillette Stadium. The first one is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. And I do want to say, we don't know the actual order in which they're going to be facing these opponents. I'm not telling you that week one, the Patriots are now playing the Atlanta Falcons. Patriots could be on the road. They could be at home. Who's the opponent going to be? We're not going to know till about May, but these are the official opponents that they will be playing. So again, at home, we know we'll be seeing the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is going to be a real interesting one. Raheem Morris, second year as a head coach, didn't do so great in year one. And Raheem Morris has been a bad coach in the league before. He was ultimately the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, but I think this one's going to start with the Patriots having to stop the run, and that's what a lot of their matchups are going to be. Spoiler alert, this upcoming season is that defense's ability or inability to stop the run. Bijan Robinson is an absolute force to be reckoned with. I think that they'll be using him a little bit more this season. They obviously got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, if he's still around. They have a lot of offensive weapons. You got year two of Michael Penix. He's going to be their starting quarterback for the first time, at least to start the season. Big question for me is Matthew Judon going to be there? They traded a third-round pick for Matthew Judon right before the start of the 2024 season. They never gave him a contract extension. Could the Patriots be seen an old foe? Or could Matthew Judon maybe even beyond the New England Patriots? Spoiler alert, I don't think that's out of the realm. And could he maybe be facing his former team in the Atlanta Falcons? I think this is going to be a fun one. You know you're going to hear about 28-3 that entire week, and I absolutely love it. I feel like this is a winnable game for the Patriots. Now, we obviously don't know the roster of New England. We don't know the roster or the final roster of the Atlanta Falcons. But if this comes down to pure coaching, I think that Mike Vrabel, the Patriots coaching staff, is already miles better than what we've seen from Raheem Morris. But always a fun matchup between the Patriots and the Falcons. Next up here, in division game, we always know that the Patriots play the Buffalo Bills at home. I feel like the Patriots have the best odds out of all the teams in the AFC East to go head-to-head with the Buffalo Bills. Now, I'm not saying that the Patriots are going to win the AFC East, but when it comes to who's going to give the Buffalo Bills their best run for the money, I do think it's going to be our New England Patriots. I mean, think about it. The Jets can never beat the Bills. The Dolphins feel like they can never beat the Bills. The only team in recent history, whether it's been Mac Jones at quarterback, Cam Newton at quarterback, whether it's Gerard Mayo at head coach, Bill Belichick at head coach, the Patriots feel like they're always able to squeak one out on the Bills on a year-to-year basis. Josh Allen coming off an MVP-like season. Will he be able to replicate that in 2025? I think that's the big question, but I think this one's going to be a fun matchup. Now, the next opponent we're going to see at Gillette Stadium is the Carolina Panthers. This one definitely feels like a win for the Patriots. Again, I think we have the better coaching staff with Mike Vrabel. I think that the Carolina Panthers, they have one of the worst rosters in the NFL. And if there's a Panthers fan watching this, there's no hate. The Patriots, we have the worst roster in the National Football League. But the Patriots have assets to get better this offseason. The Panthers, they don't really have that many assets to truly U-haul that entire roster. Now, I would be pinning this in as a win already for New England if it wasn't for the re-emergence of Bryce Young. Now, we all know the story. The Panthers, they traded with the Bears for the first overall pick. They selected Bryce Young. Bryce Young looked like a bust of the first overall pick. But when they sat him for a couple of weeks this past season, he came back as a new quarterback. He showed flashes of that first overall pick. Are we going to get the Bryce Young that we've seen for a season and a half? Or are we going to get the Bryce Young that we saw the second half of 2024 that almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I think that's going to be the question. They also lost, I believe his name's Jordan Brooks. I know it's definitely Brooks the last name. I believe his name is Jordan Brooks, though. He was a rookie running back for them, showed a lot of promise. Their running back, too, he's already out for the entire 2025 season. So that's a loss to watch there. This is another opponent that, for me, it comes down to stopping the run. I think if you can make Bryce Young, that offense, one-dimensional, force them to beat you through the air, I feel confident about the Patriots' chances of winning. Chuba Hubbard became one of the most dynamic running backs down the stretch of this past 2024 season. As long as you can stop him, I feel good about the Patriots' chances here. Now, next up is the Cleveland Browns, right? And this is going to be interesting because is Mike Vrabel going to get the best of his former team, or are the Cleveland Browns going to know kind of the ins of Mike Vrabel, how his mind works? I think that's going to be interesting. But one thing I will say is that I feel like when Mike Vrabel was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, when he went up against his former disciples, he always won. Even when it was Belichick, even when it was Brady, even when the Patriots were going to Super Bowls, winning Super Bowls, like it was the best of the best here in New England. Somehow every single time they faced Mike Vrabel, they somehow lost. Also, who's going to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns? Is Myles Garrett going to be on the Cleveland Browns? Is Ward going to be a cornerback still for the Cleveland Browns? I think there could be a lot of turnover to where I think that this could be a favorable matchup, believe it or not, for the Patriots. Also, Nick Chubb might not be on the Cleveland Browns. Up next, the Miami Dolphins, another AFC East in-division opponent that we know we'll face twice a year. It's hard. It's hard to talk about the Dolphins, man, because, again, whether it's been Belichick, Brady, Belichick, Newton, Belichick, Mac Jones, whether it was Gerard Mayo last year with Drake May and Jacoby Brissett, the Patriots that's the kryptonite. The kryptonite of the New England Patriots, especially in recent years, has been the Miami Dolphins, and it is wildly annoying. Is this the year we finally get over the hump? We add some assets. We add the talent. We have good coaching now. I think that Mike Vrabel is a better coach than Mike McDaniels. We saw the Dolphins start to implode this past season. Are they going to get back on track with Tyreek, or are they just going to be the team that we saw this past season? Is this finally the year we can squeak out at least one win against them, get them off our shoulders a little bit? Boy, I hope so. But until the Patriots actually beat the Dolphins, I can't say that we're actually going to beat them. Now, next up here is the Giants. This one feels like another pretty easy win for the Patriots. Vrabel against Brian Daboll. I'm taking Vrabel 10 out of 10 times. I mean, that team lost Saquon Barkley. They have Malik Neighbors, who's really their only weapon. Darius Slayton is more than likely leaving that team. Who's the quarterback going to be of the Giants? That's a big question, too. Danny Dimes officially not the quarterback there for the Giants. So I feel like this is a team that is in a multi-year rebuild. Daboll is definitely coaching for his job, but they're one of the least talented rosters in the NFL also. And I don't see how they're going to get back on track, be a playoff team, or even be a middle-of-the-pack team. Offensively, defensively, that team is struggling. Coming here to Gillette Stadium, too, I mean, nah, give me the Patriots, baby. The Jets, jet man. Now, real talk, though, they got Aaron Glenn. What's that new philosophy? What's the atmosphere going to be like for the Jets? I feel like they're just cursed, man. Straight up, the Jets are just cursed. Whether it's been bad quarterbacks, bad coaching staff that's kept them bad, or whether it's just been the owner and Woody Johnson being stupid, making dumb decisions, or whether it's just the drama that went on behind the scenes this past year that prevented them from winning. It just feels like it's something new every single year for the New York Jets. But seriously, what is Aaron Glenn going to bring to this team? I'm not as high on Aaron Glenn as some people have been, but Aaron Glenn is a guy that, used to play for the Jets. He was actually drafted by the Jets, so he's going to be motivated. He was a front officeman for the Jets. He's a coach now for the Jets. He's done everything from player to front office to now coach, so he's going to have a lot of experience. He's going to hate the Patriots as a former player of the New York Jets. He's going to be, like I said, a little bit extra motivated, but again, another one of those situations where it hasn't mattered who the coach, it hasn't mattered who the quarterback was, it hasn't mattered how bad the Patriots have been the last 2 years. The Jets haven't been able to sweep the Patriots. I don't see what it's going to be now that says, oh yeah, they're going to be able to sweep the Patriots. So yeah, give me the pass, baby. The Raiders, look, Tom Brady's coming home. Now, real talk. Will he be on the plane to Foxborough? I don't know. I hope so. Honestly, I wonder if this is the game. I wonder if the Patriots play the Raiders earlier on in the season, and that's when we see Tom Brady's statue unveiled at Gillette Stadium, because as we all know, Tom Brady has partial ownership of the Raiders. But this is another team that had a really bad season. They won 4 games this past year. They don't have a quarterback. They have no run game. Jacoby Myers is their wide receiver 1. Brock Bowers is really the only upside they have offensively. Max Crosby is really the only thing that they have defensively. Malcolm Kuntz, a guy who's expected to hit free agency, also coming off of a season-ending injury. They have the second most cap space. At least they're projected to have the second most cap space in the NFL this offseason. So they're going to be a team that makes moves. They're going to be a team that goes head-to-head with the Patriots in free agency for some of the top players. Ultimately, I think this one's going to come down to who has the better overall roster. Pete Carroll, surprisingly, the head coach of the Raiders. Didn't see that one coming. He's back in the NFL. What's Pete Carroll going to be? He's one of the best head coaches of all time. At least I consider him one of the best head coaches all time. He has a lot of experience, especially against the New England Patriots. Again, with Tom Brady potentially having to say, could that be the Patriots' kryptonite? They've had their issues against the Raiders before, but could we potentially see a scenario where Pete Carroll hasn't been able to marry his old concepts of the NFL from like the 2000s, 2010s to what the NFL is now here in 2025? That for me is to be determined. And then the last game for the Patriots at home is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Patriots have always owned the Pittsburgh Steelers. It doesn't even matter. In 2023, when the Patriots were playing a Steelers team that was hot, was looking to make the postseason, the Patriots, who were having historically one of the worst seasons they've ever had, the worst season under Bill Belichick, and they had Bailey Zappi starting under center, they still were able to somehow beat the Steelers. By the way, beating the Steelers in Pittsburgh. This one's now at Gillette Stadium. Who's going to be the quarterback, right? That is my big question for the Steelers this upcoming season. Who is going to be the quarterback? It's rumored that Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, both likely, to hit free agency and potentially go somewhere else with a new team in 2025. I feel like that overall roster for the Steelers hasn't been great, more specifically offensively. Najee Harris also hitting free agency. He could potentially be gone. I think that defense is what's kept them in games. I think Mike Tomlin has been what's kept them in games. They had a good season this past year, but did absolutely nothing in the postseason. Yet again, I think that they need real talent, and I think that Mike Tomlin is becoming what Bill Belichick was at the end of Belichick's career, where he believes that talent doesn't matter, and he can pretty much just out-coach any deficiency they have on their team, and that's just not a recipe to win. Now, guys, before we continue on today's video, I want to give a massive shout-out to the sponsor of this video over at BetUS. Right now, when you guys sign up and use the code you see on the screen, YouTube150, that is YouTube150, you'll be locked into a limited time exclusive offer of a 150% sign up bonus on your first deposit, followed by $125 on your next 2, all the way up to $2,000. That is a deal on your first 3 deposits when you guys sign up right now. You might be saying, football's over. Yeah, but the offseason is just getting started, and BetUS, they have the best betting variety in the business. Right now, you can bet on where some of the top NFL free agents are going to land. And with the Patriots having the most cap space, you know that we're going to be favored to land some of the top players, I'm just saying. But because they have the best betting variety in the business, you can also use this sign-up bonus on the NBA, MLB, hockey, horse racing, fighting, politics, entertainment, you name it, BetUS has it. And the deal doesn't stop there, because they're also giving you 10% back on your net losses 2 times a year. But play smart, play responsible, never bet more than you can afford to lose. But a massive shout out to BetUS. Let's go ahead and let's get back to this video here, and let's get into the Patriots away opponent. So we just broke down all the guys that they're going to play at Gillette Stadium. Now, these are the guys that the Patriots will be playing on the road in 2025. Starting off here with the Baltimore Ravens, this one is going to be difficult. Playing Lamar is a beast within itself. Now you're going up against Zay Flowers, who, is this the first time the Patriots are playing against Zay Flowers? I think it might be. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be. You also got Derrick Henry in the backfield. You have Mark Andrews at tight end. Isaiah Likely as tight end too. They have a good offensive line. This is where what the Patriots do in the offseason to address the trenches is going to matter the most. Because offensively, the Baltimore Ravens are the most prolific rush offense in the entire National Football League. One, if not the most prolific rushing offense in NFL history. Defensively, they're a little inconsistent, but what they do with their front seven, what they do against the run and with their pass rush on that defensive line is what's scary. We know that where the Patriots are struggling the most heading into 2025 is in the trenches, on that O-line, on that D-line. And if they truly do not address it this offseason, then a team like the Baltimore Ravens is going to absolutely dog walk them. So this one's going to be interesting. It's going to put the Patriots to a true test on the road against one of the best teams in the AFC, a true playoff contender. So one that I'll definitely be looking forward to. Now, next up here is the Buffalo Bills. We already broke this one down. This one's going to be on the road. Like I said, Patriots seem like they're able to get one out on the Buffalo Bills every single year, whether it's on the road, whether it's at home. So I don't think we have to redo this one. The Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Patriots just played the Bengals in Cincinnati this past season, and they were able to beat them. I think the Patriots' chances at winning this game is going to be very much determined on when they play the Cincinnati Bengals. This is why I said last year, everybody thought I was crazy. I said, the Patriots are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals week one. Everyone was like, what are you talking about? You think Gerard Mayo in game one is going to beat Joe Burrow, one of the best teams in the NFL, and the Bengals? Are you crazy? The Bengals start off slow every single year. This past year, the year before that, the year they went to the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. They get hot as the season goes on. If the Patriots play them late in the season, it's going to be really, really hard to beat them. If the Patriots can play them in September, I feel pretty good about the Patriots' chances of winning. I also think it's going to be interesting to say, or rather to see, where does T. Higgins go, right? We're hearing about Joe Burrow wanting all his star players back. He wants Trey Hendrickson back on the defensive side of the football, while Hendrickson wants to get traded for a new contract. Does Joe Burrow get his wish? Does he get Trey Hendrickson back? Does he get Jamar Chase on a new contract? We know that Jamar Chase was holding out at times this past season because he wants a new contract. T. Higgins is expected to hit free agency or could potentially be re-signed. A lot of storylines going on with some of their top players. I'll be curious to see who's actually playing by the time this matchup occurs. Miami Dolphins, like I said, kind of same thing about the Buffalo Bills. We already touched upon this one. I'm not picking the Patriots to win against the Dolphins until they actually do it. Now, next up here is the Saints. This is definitely another favorable matchup for the Patriots. Kellen Moore, first-time head coach here ever, and he's going to be the head coach here of the Saints. New Orleans. I was just there for the Super Bowl. Great place to be. If you can go ahead and get down to this game, I highly recommend you do it. Caesars Superdome, absolutely beautiful to see in person. But I'm looking at the roster of the Saints, and I'm trying to wonder who really scares me. I mean, Alvin Kamara is literally the only player that team has. They don't have a quarterback. It's rumored that they're not bringing back Derek Carr. What wide receivers am I really supposed to be scared of? Again, you stop Alvin Kamara, you feel pretty good about your chances at beating the Saints. Even on the defensive side of the football, not a lot of guys that scare me. They're a team that they're definitely in a multi-year rebuild, not a retool, but a rebuild. And their inability to draft since really 2017 has put them significantly behind it in terms of roster talent. And that's why they're kind of as bad as they are. Now, coming up here is the Jets. Again, kind of same thing we touched upon with the Dolphins and the Bills. Next up is the Buccaneers. It is hard to play in Tampa. I'll be curious to see, is Gronk rooting for the Patriots or is he rooting for the Bucs? Is Brady rooting for the Patriots or is Brady rooting for the Bucs? I think this is going to be a fun matchup. It's always fun when the Patriots and the Bucs can play against each other, even before Tom Brady went there and changed the entire culture between both of these teams. One thing that I am curious about, though, is Chris Godwin, because Chris Godwin is a free agent target for me. We did you a favor, Tampa Bay. That's all I'm going to say. We did you a favor. We gave you Brady. We traded you Gronk for like a 4th-round pick. Now is the time to do us a favor. Give us Chris Godwin. Let us win this game, and I'll be nice enough to say we call it even. But real talk, they're a postseason team. Feels like they get hotter every single year. This is like the 4th year, though, where they have a new offensive coordinator. But Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, it just feels like this is a team that's always cooking offensively. I think defensively is where you have some question marks. Not a very good defensive line. They don't have a lot of money to spend to add external free agents. They got some guys in that secondary with Winfield Jr., but other than that, like, I think Drake May in this offense will have opportunities to succeed and put up a few touchdowns. And then lastly here is the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel against his old team. This is a team with the 1st overall pick. Could we potentially be seeing Cam Ward? I think that this is a team, though, that's taken a step back with overall talent. They completely reset last offseason. Like, completely. I mean, fired Mike Vrabel, new front office, new personnel, but they wanted to win immediately. The Tennessee Titans tried to do exactly what a lot of Patriots fans wanted New England to do, and I said, no, you don't do that because it's not realistic long-term. They tried in one offseason to completely reset the entire team and be successful. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. They have the first overall pick, and now they're a little bit more hell-bent against the cap. I think Mike Vrabel is going to be very, 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 very motivated to win this game after how they treated him and this the straight-up disrespect and release that he had just because they didn't like that he had ties back to the New England Patriots still. Derrick Henry's not there anymore. Again, is Cam Ward the quarterback? Is it somebody else? Where do they go? I also think it's going to be interesting to see how many former Titans end up joining the New England Patriots this offseason. So this one is going to be a very fun battle, familiar faces on both sides of the football for both teams. But this is where I kick it to you guys. What are your thoughts on these opponents? We just broke down the home opponents, the away opponents for the Patriots in 2025. Those are the official opponents, by the way. When we have the official schedule, who they play on a week-to-week basis, who they start with to open the season, and who they end with to finish 2025. I'll break that video down for you guys. Make sure on the way out you leave a big like on this video because it helps support me so much. Subscribe here at Patriots Global to join the Patriots Global family. This is your one-stop shop for everything involving the New England Patriots. But until next time, big shout out to BetUS again for sponsoring this video, and go Pats.